Sit down, sit down, sit down. Thank you, thank you. Well, here we are, here we are. Masking. This mic doesn't have a mask on it. Anyway. Hey, welcome everybody in the sanctuary. And then those of you that are with us on a live stream. As Pastor Jeff said, he's invited me to share some of my personal testimony about the calling of God ministry. And let me clarify that every believer is called and has a ministry. You have the Ephesians 4 and 11, the office gifts, apostles, prophets, pastors, teachers, and then you have the ministry and support, help support ministry. How many know that they have to come together? They can't be separated. So I'm going to relate to you in my brief testimony here about three personal God-related experiences relative to my calling as a minister. Number one was my grandmother. My grandmother, on my mother's side, she was part Choctaw Indian. And before she ever had grandchildren, she had a visitation of God. And in the visitation, God showed her, however, that she was going to have 9 grandsons, and 4 of them would be pastor preachers. And I am one of the 4 of different denominations. And so God revealed that to my grandmother. Then, when I was 9 years old, our family had moved from Middletown. My dad was a Armco steel worker for about 25 years, and he decided to go farm. So we moved to a farm out near Waynesville, Cedar Creek area, and I will not even attempt to share with you my poor farm story, because you would not even, it'd be hard for you to believe it. So 9 years old, and we were not a church family, but we had a neighbor farmer. His name was Willard Lamb. And Willard one day invited my dad and said, "Can I take your 2 sons to church?" And my dad said, "Yeah." Willard had 14 children and a truck. And so he comes, we jump in this truck, go up the river, Miami River, Waynesville area, cross the river, a little place called Corwin, a little crossroad, and there's a little brick Pentecostal church there. I didn't even know it was Pentecostal until 25 years later. So I go to one service, and somehow God impacted me. The next morning, doing my working 50 count, no, it wasn't 50, it's 25, 10. Anyway, milking cow, sitting on a stool, bucket, milking the cow, and suddenly I had a vision from God. 9 years old, and in the vision I saw this. I saw, and it's still so real today, I saw the world, the globe. And across the globe was people lined up, and they were in their different nationality dress and so forth. And they were marching, and they were taking steps. But they were marching and taking steps off of the globe into darkness. And there suddenly I began to weep. I began to cry and cry out to God and say, "Oh God, don't let people die and go to hell." 9 years old. Now, of course, 9 years old, didn't have any follow-up, didn't go back to church. I went into my rebellion years from around 12 years old to into my 20s. And during that season, especially times when I would be under the influence of alcohol, I would have dreams and I would see myself preaching. And I couldn't even understand that, but also a police officer. So here I am, high school dropout. I tried to join the Army when I was 16, and before I got to the gate, they caught me and sent me home. At 17, I joined the Navy to see the world, and I did. Missions in the Navy, been in 70 countries. And so joined the Navy, honorable discharge, I had to put that in there. Honorable discharge. In the Navy, I got my GED high school. Actually went back to high school after I got out of the Navy, actual classes. And then police officer for about a year or so. On the job, have a friend call. And the friend says, Fred, I want you to go to church with me. And I said, you are crazy. I was trying to be an atheist. At least a good agnostic, you know. And I said, no, wait, man, what are you even talking about? And he said, but Fred, you don't understand. They have the most beautiful girls. And all of a sudden, an anointing came on me to go to the house of God. Well, I got the girl. There she is. But I also got God. First God, then the girl. And so, salvation, change, life, my God, lifestyle change. I mean, I was your all-American boy, handsome beyond your words. Convertible, single, ball bats to beat off the women. But what a change. Doesn't Jesus change? Jesus makes the change. But immediately, almost immediately, right after my salvation experience, I had forgotten this 9-year-old experience. But God brought this back to me and began to deal with me about the calling of God. And so I wrestled with that for about a year and a half. I mean, seeking God, oftentimes prayer and fasting, and getting the confirmation of God. And so finally I gave in, and here we go. And I'm a police officer. They had me on television, newspapers, policeman trades badge for the Bible. And so the journey. Educationally, attended 6 universities, taught in 3, high school dropout, 2 doctorates, high school dropout, 2 doctorates. Jesus makes the difference. Served in my denomination. I was state youth director of the state of New Jersey. I was state evangelist for the state of Ohio, served in other different capacities, pastored 2 other churches. And in the last church, Katrina and I became very dissatisfied. Something's not right. And I'm not even going to tell you the denomination, but it seemed like there was more emphasis on the denomination than there was Jesus. You know what I'm talking about. And so prayer and fasting, go back to Dayton, and go back, no support, no financial support, clothes on our back, no furniture, low-income housing, government housing, slept on the floor, started a church in the apartment, 10 people counting the children. But God. And here we are today.